Hey guys, this is Max from HighOnAndroid.com, where we get on Android every day. Anyway, today I wanted to do daily driver that I've been daily driving the Google Pixel and the OnePlus 3T for last whole week. And for those of you new to my channel, I basically daily drive two phones for a whole week and tell you my opinions on Monday. Today's Monday. So I'll do this every Monday. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look. Which one did better? Let's go do this, baby. Alright, first let's go ahead and talk about the display. Both of these displays are at its brightest setting. Alright, let me also make sure both have adaptive display off. Alright, turn off adaptive display and let's turn up the volume here. And you can tell right away that the OnePlus 3T is slightly brighter. Let me go ahead and show you with my sight, with the same sight here. You can see the whites a lot brighter, slightly brighter with the 3T. I've actually got a light meter here. So this is measuring lux. I also have a list of brightness for all the different smartphones I've tried on my site. I'll have a link in the description below. So about 730 for the Pixel XL, 787, so slightly brighter as you can see, almost 785. It is pretty amazing that this is a $760 phone. This is a $430 phone, yet this has slightly brighter screens. As far as viewing angles go, both are actually AMOLED displays, and I would say almost equal in terms of viewing angles. Very good viewing angles for both. Whether you get the Pixel XL or the 3T, they both have great displays. But I will have to definitely give the edge, especially brightness, to the OnePlus 3T. A better value for display. Okay, as far as software goes, this is still running Android 6.0 Marshmallow. I'm gonna go ahead and root it and install Nougat pretty soon here. And this is running obviously the latest Android 7.1 Nougat. I mean, the greatest thing about both of these phones is that you can root and install custom ROMs easily. The company OnePlus supports rooting, and also Google supports rooting. So they're not locked in any way. For the Pixel, if you buy from Verizon, then you'll come with a lock bootloader. There's a method to unlock the bootloader. But if I was a Verizon customer, I would totally buy the unlocked Pixel because it works fine on Verizon. You just have to insert your SIM. That is a better way. Also, resale value for the unlocked version is always higher than Verizon ones. FYI, lock bootloaders have lower resale value. Go on eBay for any phones in type Verizon variants, and the resale value is a lot lower than unlocked phones. That's another reason if you want to resell the phone later down the line. Alright, next let's go ahead and talk about the fingerprint sensor. The Pixel has it on the back, and obviously the OnePlus 3T has it on the front. I'm actually really impressed with the 3T. It is actually one of the faster fingerprint sensors for the one that's on front. Compared to something like a Galaxy S7 Edge, this is way more accurate. Now, I do prefer the back because it's a lot easier when you're holding it like this. Of course, the advantage with the 3T is you can go ahead and unlock with your fingerprint easily, even when it's on the desk. While this, you'll either have to pick it up or you'll have to enter your pattern. For those of you who are fans of the fingerprint sensor on the back, maybe you're coming from like an LG G5 or Nexus 6P, you will actually love the fingerprint sensor on the 3T because it works very flawless, especially if you use your phone often on the desk. You're gonna be able to just unlock your phone with your fingerprint very, very easily. Now, the coolest thing is that you will be able to also unlock it from the opposite side, even if you register from one angle. And one of the benefits with the 3T, you can do that. That is really awesome. So at any angle, it will recognize your fingerprint sensor. Now, can the Pixel do the same? Let me go ahead and try it. I'm gonna put it like this. Oh, it does also work. But just the way it is positioned, you would only really use it in one way. Alright, next let's talk about battery life. Battery life has been actually better on the 3T. I believe that is because this has 1080p versus 1440p, and I forgot to mention that. If you absolutely need 1440p display, OnePlus 3T I don't recommend because I'm used to daily driving 1440p screens like this one, LG V20 or the S7 Edge, and I watch a lot of YouTube videos in 1440p, which really helps with the 1440p screen, and it makes a huge difference for someone who has been watching every YouTube in 1440p. When I'm at my house, when the internet's good, I'm always watching everything in 1440p because internet is pretty much free. Especially if you watch a lot of videos, you want to actually see that higher quality. So I watch a lot of camera sample videos because I am super into cameras. I own like 4 cameras. I'm always searching for samples of cameras, and people upload that stuff to 4K to YouTube. Now with a higher resolution phone like the 6P, the Pixel, you can watch it in full 1440p. And I can actually appreciate that 4K video in 1440p instead of 1080p. Now, it's not gonna make a huge difference for those of you who don't watch a lot of 1440p because you've never tried it. It's sort of like difference between 720p HD and 1080p HD. There's not a huge difference. You look at it once, you're not gonna really be able to tell the difference, and you're gonna be like, I don't need 1080p, I'm gonna go with 720p. But if you start using 1080p all of the time, and you go back to 720p, you're like, ugh, what is that? So it's kind of like that. That is why most of the flagship phones, there's no 720p HD phones. I bought a bunch of cheaper Android phones. They all have 720p HD. I can actually see the pixels. It's just ugly. Once your eyes get used to the better resolution, you know, it's hard to go back. And that's the boat I am. But I know a lot of you still will be like, oh, I don't care, Max, 1080p is perfect for me. Just give it a few years when everybody be using 1440p and then they have 4K screens. Or 8K screens, you're gonna be left behind. Maybe not for everybody, but for me, I absolutely really need that 1440p because I've been used to it for like 3 years now, ever since LG came out with their first 1440p phone. And also, if you're gonna play VR, which is available for both of these phones, you will have better virtual reality experience with a 1440p screen, like twice better resolution. So that's another reason to think about. And if you've never really daily driven 1440p, trust me, use it for like 3 months. Get a 1440p no matter what on your next phone, use it for 3 months, and then try to go back to 1080p. You'll be like, no way, Jose. With that said, a lot of apps actually don't support 1440p at the moment, except for like YouTube. I think Netflix has high quality. So if you're not using any of those apps, you're right. And that is where most of the people can't even try 1440p. So they're kind of like, what the hell is 1440p? But if you want to enjoy all of my videos, which are pretty much all made in 4K, and you want to enjoy it to the highest resolution, you will definitely need a 1440p screen. Enough about that, let's go ahead and talk about the camera. I had a bunch of camera tests between these two phones. Go check them out if you haven't. Check out my last video on the low light camera test for stills. I am actually really impressed that the OnePlus 3T has that HQ mode. It's basically noise reduction for a smartphone. But most phones don't have it, and it really keeps up with the Pixel. If you want to save like 230 bucks, you know, and get the 3T, you still can get very decent photos that keep up with the Pixel. Of course, the Pixel is just going to kill it with exposure levels and details. So if you absolutely need the best camera, of course, the Pixel is the way to go. Now, let's talk about some issues I've had with both of these phones. The only issue I've had this week with the Pixel is sometimes I will actually play back 1440p videos and it will just sort of freeze. That, I'm not sure why it's happening. It doesn't happen all the time, but it happens sometimes and it is sort of annoying. I haven't had any issues with the 3T, and I believe that has something to do with the higher resolution and the chip. Snapdragon 821. I've had these issues before with Snapdragon, I think 810. I think it has something to do with the chip and the higher resolution. So I'm just telling you, it doesn't happen all the time, but it has been sometimes annoying, and it's happening on the Pixel. I haven't actually rooted this one, but I'm gonna go ahead and install a custom ROM and see if that fixes it. As far as performance on both of these phones, I've had 0 performance issues. Actually, I did an Antutu test. Let's go ahead and take a quick look. So guys, you can see that actually the OnePlus 3T actually finished up first. Wow. And also it did finish up about 10 seconds quicker. What I'm hearing is that the OnePlus 3T is actually clocked higher. Pretty amazing performance by OnePlus 3T. Kills the Pixel XL, especially in 3D, UX, CPU. RAM, also 6 gigs of RAM versus 4 gigs, so that really helped. This isn't exactly how well both of these phones perform. It's just a benchmark, but it should give you a rough idea how these should perform. I'm really impressed with the OnePlus 3T. 160,000? I think that's actually a record on an Android phone. And wow, the performance on the 3T is simply amazing. Also, it has more 6 gigs of RAM versus 4 gigs. So if you need the ultimate performance this year, I think the OnePlus 3T is actually the king of performance. I don't think any other phone is getting 160,000. And that could be another reason to get the 3T, because it has the Snapdragon 821, slightly faster than the OnePlus regular 3, and also better front camera. Now, another thing I really love about the OnePlus 3T is the silent button. Like when I go to sleep, I'll put all my phones to silent mode. Right now, it's on buzzing. So for this phone, I'll actually have to turn it on. I'll have to press something, and I'll have to like press that, right? It is so much simpler here. All I have to do is put it in the middle, which puts it into do not disturb. That's it. So I really like the little button there. That's really nice. And I also been using the flashlight very often. The V is just simply amazing. There's so many times when you have to use a flashlight. I'm always using the flashlight. I was in the garage the other day. I went up to the attic yesterday. Literally, I grabbed my OnePlus 3T, hit V, and that's it. Boom. Done. Now the good news with the 3T is that you can also turn that into some other feature, and it could really save you time if you use a feature of the phone all the time. Just root, install custom ROM, you'll be able to customize this button to something else. And I can do this all day without even looking at the phone. So I'm really falling in love with the 3T, not because I got it for free. I did get it for free. Thanks again, OnePlus 3T, but actually daily driving it, I'm really liking it. Now again, the only thing I don't like about it is 1080p screen. Why do you have the nicest specs, the fastest phone with a 1080p screen? So that is why I stopped buying OnePlus products. The last OnePlus I bought was OnePlus 2. And one of the main reasons I skipped OnePlus 3, and that was one of my main reasons, is that because there's no 1440p screen. And that is why I didn't buy it. They actually sent me one. They're the one who contacted me first. And even now, I would not buy it with my own money. 1440p is one of my requirements. If I'm going to buy one phone for the whole year as a daily driver, I'm not going to get a phone with 1080p, alright? Now, for those of you saying, oh, Max, 1440p has very bad battery life. Well, you know what? On phones like the Galaxy S7 Edge with the latest Android 7.1 Nougat, you can actually change the resolution to 1080p to 720p and back to 1440p, which means the user can easily change the resolution to save battery life. And that's not very hard to do. Put that feature on the phone. Problem solved, you know? And that way, people who have the bandwidth, free internet to enjoy 1440p videos, we can. And for those of you maybe who don't consume any 1440p content, everything's 1080p, you can go ahead and switch that to 1080p and get good battery life. There are ways to do it. I just really hope that OnePlus actually makes 1440p, because every flagship on Android is 1440p. And if you've been using iPhones on 1080p, of course you just got 1080p like a year ago, and that must have been eye-opening. But Android has been always like 2 or 3 years ahead. We've had phablet big smartphones for 3 years with the Notes, way before Apple. We've had 1440p way before Apple. We've had stereo speakers way before Apple. We had waterproof phones way before Apple. We already have 4K smartphones. I actually have one, the Z5 Premium, way before Apple. So really, Apple is really just playing catch up in terms of performance, features. So for this week, I'm going to keep daily driving the OnePlus 3T because I still got to do a review on it. And also I've got the new Le Eco Pro 3 that I just got. I'm going to go ahead and daily drive these two, and we'll have another video next Monday. Anyway, thank you guys for watching this video. If you have any questions, leave it in the comment box below. Quickest way to reach me is on Twitter at ZitoMax. If you have any certain questions about these two phones you want me to cover in my next week's video, do leave a comment below. I will see you guys soon. As always, stay on Android.
Click here to subscribe. Subscribe.